advantage of this past weekend and get yourself a Brett Phillips basketball jersey?
I most certainly did. I'm really happy I went with a couple good buddies, Brandon and Emily. We enjoyed him being clutch for the last time of him wearing a Rays jersey.
We miss you, Brett.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
And I am Evan Klosky.
And we're the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making Locked On Rays your very first listen every day. And remember, Locked On Rays is free and available on all platforms, including YouTube at Locked On Rays. I wonder in the future, I guess this is the Brett Phillips swan song, if you will. I wonder in the future if a player like Brett Phillips comes along again, although I don't know if that'll happen because he's such a unique bird in a good way. Do the Rays change the dates of their promotions or giveaways of a guy who may not be around? I mean, because I feel like they would have liked to DFA or move off of Brett Phillips a little bit earlier. So maybe they move back a promotion like that to June or May or April. What do you all say?
I remember this distinctively being an episode last year, and both of you saying, Ulises, you're ridiculous. Can you take off the conspiracy theory tinfoil hat? There's nothing to do with promotions and all that stuff. Can we give me a little bit of credit here? Doesn't it smell exactly like that's just what happened? They were just looking at that schedule and like, we can't do it. We can't DFA until that happens. We obviously cannot do this. We're just going to have to stick it through, guys. That's exactly what this smells like.
I understand it, and I'm not saying it wasn't a factor. I do also think they wanted to give Brett every opportunity leading to that deadline to prove that, they're essentially they were going to have to do what they were going to have to do. And they can at least know that they gave him all those chances. And I think he earned that,
Yeah.
Didn't Kevin Kiermaier have a promotion earlier this year or last year before the trade deadline?
It might have been.
Okay.
I think so. I think that's why we talked about it, because it was moved up or something, or it was scratched off, the Meadows one or something. I don't remember where it came, but yeah, we had this talk last season. I just forget which giveaway it was.
By the way, Brett Phillips, his slash line before he got DFA'd, or when he got DFA'd, at the time he got DFA'd, 147, 225, 250 through 208 plate appearances with a 41% strikeout rate. Question: do we see Brett Phillips? Well, actually, multiple questions. Do we see Brett Phillips in a Rays uniform ever again?
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like, Brett he's defensively so good, but if that defense ever he's in the league right now because his defense is arguably the best right now in baseball, just per numbers. Outs above average, whatever you want to look at. If that drops off a little bit, he's probably trickling to AAA, borderline hanging up the cleats, right? I mean, how much longer will he push through that to give the Rays an opportunity to bring him back into the fold? I think they would love to have him. Who knows what happens down the line if they're on a tear and they just want a clubhouse guy and they bring him in to just be good energy. So maybe,
honestly, that's probably why the Orioles brought him in, because to sort of lighten the load of we got rid of Trey Mancini and Jorge Lopez, so we got to bring in the cheerleader, so to speak, to live in the clubhouse going forward. I don't know if it's going to make a difference at all, but at least shake things up in some fashion.
I think a team like that's a good observation, by the way. The fact that you're losing two big guys in that Orioles clubhouse, you need to kind of put a little bit of energy, and Brett Phillips definitely will do that. Everybody was asking when Willy Adames was traded last year, oh, who's going to take up the mantle? I mean, it was such a seamless transition going from Willy Adames to Brett Phillips. Now you wonder who will be the Brett Phillips in that clubhouse. Maybe is it David Peralta, who apparently was that guy in the Diamondbacks clubhouse? If you didn't catch the episode, the crossover we did with Miller Thomas, the host of Locked On Diamondbacks, he just waxed poetic about this, about his energy in the clubhouse. They dance salsa after every win. He would like teach dance salsa moves to the white guys on the team. Like, he was just a very Brett Phillips type guy in the clubhouse. So I think maybe you could see David take up that mantle. But I think when you ask the question, would Brett Phillips be back in the Rays fold, you would have to be talking about a Rays offense that looks very similar to a 2021 offense where you're scoring 5+ runs a game. And so you can afford yourself a guy that is defense first, second, third, and offense fourth. That's how you see Brett Phillips come in. But in the 2022 offense like the Rays have this year, there's just no spot. You need a little bit more offense right now.
Follow up with Brett Phillips DFA'd, yet the Rays acquiring Jose Siri. Does this mean anything at all for the futures of Kevin Kiermaier and or Josh Lowe in a Rays uniform in 2023?
I don't think it affects Lowe, but certainly KK. I mean, we all kind of knew about KK. I mean, we've all been like, this could be the year, this could be the last year. They're not going to pick up his contract, so or his option, I should say. And he fits. Neander talked about it when acquiring Siri, that he plays center field like Kevin Kiermaier. And if you look at what you hope Siri is going to be, and not considering him to be some offensive masher, but some sort of contributor and having peaks and valleys, whatever, it does look like he has a Kevin Kiermaier profile in his future. Hopefully without the myriad of injuries. But yeah, I think the Siri move for sure signals a little bit KK's time in Tampa Bay might be done. But Lowe, I don't think that changes anything with him. You're not going to just give up on him after 1 year and call it good. I think that would be foolish. And next year will be if he's struggling like this next year, then let's talk about it. But honestly, he was hitting and they sent him down. The guy had like a hit in like 12 of 13 games and they sent him down. That's more than I can say for so many of these players. So he was rebounding outside of taking a fly ball to the face.
Let's talk about that favorite D word, depth. You're talking about Kevin Kiermaier not in the team next year. Manuel Margot, Josh Lowe, Randy Arozarena, Siri. Do you need a fifth guy there? Is that fifth guy Vidal Brujan? Is that fifth
Brujan's
guy?
Going to be.
Harold...
I think Brujan's like in everything. I think you have to
have
talking about somebody who's
a player.
Quite frankly, he's leaning towards it. I mean, I don't disagree. I'm a little bit concerned that his ability to steal bases hasn't necessarily transferred over to the major league level, which is part of his charm. But he does still play good defense at most positions. So there is value in having somebody who can slot into outfield, infield. But he might be more of a major league backup than somebody, than the highly touted prospect he was last year. But Lowe and Brujan, next year is a big year for both of them.
Right.
For sure.
I'm saying that because if that's the fifth, if the fifth spot is Vidal Brujan, and you gave me that analysis, and I do agree with it, then that fifth spot could be a Harold Ramirez, but it also could be a return for David Peralta. Or could we see a return with Kevin Kiermaier being a guy that wants to stay in Tampa Bay, will take a hefty pay cut, but because he loves the Lightning and the Rays second, but he just really likes to stay here. He loves the atmosphere. He doesn't want to go anywhere else. Yes, pay me $3 million. I will be a bench guy. I will be the veteran clubhouse guy. Like, that fifth spot is still kind of open, is it not? Kevin Kiermaier could come back.
If Kevin Kiermaier wants to come back to the Rays that bad, like if he's begging to come back to the Rays, if I'm Peter Bendix, I say, okay, we'll give you an invite to spring training. I feel like you could do a little bit more than that, but yeah, no, it's an interesting
throw the flag,
flag another 40 yards
flag.
back.
Oh my gosh,
get out of the field.
I don't know. We got to Ulises.
Yeah, the other point
penalty
about
yardage.
Yeah, the other point. Yeah, 15-yard penalty.
Go get me a swig of water. You're flagged.
Hey, training camp has started. We know Ulises is the biggest NFL, the biggest Venezuelan NFL fan ever.
You won't find another. Yeah,
of course, that's true.
On this podcast.
Quick point. Yeah. Quick point before we move on, and I've got a nice little hypothetical or continuing on, I guess, the 40-man roster and prospecting. Josh Lowe and Vidal Brujan, I know different positions, but they need to get their act together because there's somebody named Curtis Mead and there's somebody named Jonathan Aranda knocking on the door. And there's only so many spots and opportunities for guys. I'll just leave it at that. Make your moment sparkle with jewelry from BlueNile.com. And going on right now is the Blue Nile anniversary sale. Save up to 40% on classic fine jewelry pieces and 25% on engagement ring settings. Plus, every order is insured, ships free, and arrives in discreet packaging that won't give away what's inside. So shop stress-free and find your forever piece. Go to BlueNile.com today. Okay, big picture here. Bear with me. Taking everything into account, I've got 3 questions. Question 1. If there is only one currently injured Rays position player that you could have for the rest of the season / playoffs, who would that be? Would it be Francisco Mejia? Would it be Manny Margot? Would it be Mr. 330 batting average Harold Ramirez? Or would it be the wonder kid Wander Franco?
Wander Franco, next question.
Okay.
Yeah, Wander Franco. Yeah, get out of here.
All right. Just making sure. Hey, you need a catcher.
I'll catch. Give me Wander.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
If there was only one minor leaguer that you could call up for the rest of the season / playoffs, who would it be? Would it be Vidal Brujan? Would it be Jonathan Aranda?
Sold.
Would it be Josh Lowe? Would it be Clevenger, not Mike Clevenger? That actually really disappointed me when I heard that. Oh, the Rays had Clevenger. Is
it Clevenger? Because there's an A in there, right?
It's like, they got Clevenger. Oh no, it's Garrett. And what's that A doing there in the last name?
Exactly. Yeah, I thought. Is it still pronounced Clevenger?
Is it Clevenger?
That's what I saw an A there, man. I saw an A.
Yeah. Fauché, Patino, Romero, Sanders. You can call up only one of those guys on the 40-man run.
Aranda is my guy. I have said I am a day one A1. You know that. Yeah, I will go down with the Aranda ship. Yeah. I don't get it. Everyone loves Harold Ramirez. He gets injured. You have the direct replacement. He is literally Harold 2.0. He'll just get up there. He'll get hits. It won't be fancy. He's not going to hit many home runs. Just your offense can't hit. No, let's leave him down.
I'm with you. I'm with you, Evan. Again, 2 for 2. Jonathan Aranda. Like I wanted to say Curtis Mead. You know he's our boy and he's a friend of the pod, but I don't. There's a lot of rookie pressure. Exactly. There's a lot of rookie pressure already. Jonathan Aranda at least has had that taste, so let's give it to Aranda.
Aranda over Josh Lowe. Okay.
I do like Josh Lowe, though. He'd be my second guy.
All right, fair enough. Jonathan Aranda very well could turn into the next Jake Cronenworth, and then we're belly aching 2-3 years from now. Why did they not give this guy a true shot and opportunity? Final question on this segment. If there's only one, I mentioned injured Rays position players. If there's only one injured Rays pitcher that you could have for the rest of the season / playoffs, who would that be? Would it be? And again, taking into account, I know we don't know their entire injury histories, but just bear with me. Nick Anderson, Shane Baz, JT Chigua, Yanni Chirinos, JP Fireeisen, Josh Fleming. Sure, I'll include Tyler Glass now, but I'd like to take him off there. Brendan McKay, I don't even know if he's available, and Matt Whistler.
He's pitching.
The guys who basically pitched this.
Brendan McKay is rehabbing.
Fair enough. Okay, how about this? Let me change it up. The guys who've actually pitched this year for the Rays.
Okay, I'm torn because I think Shane Baz is probably the best player on that list. Okay. But I think I would love JP Fireeisen back. We all forget that the Rays had a dude who only put up zeros, did not give up a run the entire season, and he could be cooked the whole year.
Did not give up an extra base hit, 5 singles in 18 innings, if I remember correctly. That's a great pick. I have to give it to somebody else who could give us a little bit more length, maybe 2 to 3 innings. You use him as a swing guy. And of course, it's Locked On Rays. It's Ulises. So there's going to be a Venezuelan bump here. Yoni Chirinos. Give me Yoni back. I need some Yoni in my life. Who, by
the way, did not have a great outing in Charleston on
Charleston, baby,
Tuesday.
You're working through stuff. He's getting
35 pitches, not the great start. But it's been what, 2 years, 3 years for that guy? So.
Okay. In a minute, let's give the guy a couple of starts before we start grading him.
I know Ulises really wants to give that Venezuelan bump, but again, a guy who has actually pitched an inning for the Rays this year, who would that be? Would it be Fireeisen?
I don't want to go 3 for 3 with Evan here.
Oh, you can go 3 for 3.
And go JP Fireeisen. But yeah, that makes sense. It's JP.
Okay. So you guys win Harold Ramirez 3 for 3. There we go.
Yeah. yes, indeed.
Wake up, eat your Cheerios, get a single, Harold Ramirez,
and eat your Built Bars.
Oh, there we go.
Well, you have to, Kevin. You have to if you want to eat something delicious and that it's healthy for you. And you know what? If you haven't tried Built Bar Puffs yet, you are depriving yourself of one of life's greatest joys, people. And guess what? There's a new flavor. Are you ready? Delicious, indulgent cookie dough covered in chocolate. That's right. Built has done it again. Okay, so this is your favorite one from day one. Cookie dough chunk puffs. They have a light and chewy texture, real cookie dough chunks, and of course, you know it. It's going to be covered in 100% real chocolate. Cookie dough chunk puffs are only 160 calories, and they have a whopping 15 grams of protein. That's a lot of protein. If you have that much protein, you're going to go 3 for 3 like me and Evan just did in the last segment, okay?
That's right.
So today, go to built.com, use promo code LOCKED15, and you're going to get 15% off your order today. So go to built.com, use promo code LOCKED15, and you get 15% off your order at built.com.
All right, I think we also have to mention this. Another friend of the program and former guest of the program, Matt Joyce. He is officially retired.
Force him out.
Now, Evan, Matt Joyce's heyday, particularly with the Rays, was a little bit before your time coming and working in Tampa Bay. But Ulises, you have quite the fond memories of sweet swinging Matty Joyce.
Yeah, and you know he's a lovely guy. I actually texted him today. We talked for a little bit, and I just wanted to say, hey man, congratulations on your career. Pretty cool to have been one of those fans that gave you standing ovations and got to meet you personally like a decade later. So I sent him that, and so we talked for a bit. He's one of those Tampa guys that made it with his hometown team. Like, we don't get a lot of those, especially like all-stars. Like, look, I mean, what Matt Joyce did was pretty impressive in his career with the Rays. And I think he might have gotten a little bit Joe Maddened and very split heavy, but he was put in a situation where he was able to succeed. And you look at Baseball Reference, you look at all-time records, offensive records at least, and Matt Joyce is going to surprise you by being in that top 10 in a lot of those categories.
For the in a Rays uniform.
Yes.
Rays history. Yeah.
Do you know what his I'm looking at Fangraphs, but his highest WAR season?
I would say 3.3.
I'd say 2.5.
3.6.
Wow.
In 2011.
2011?
2011.
All-star.
19 homers, 69 runs, 75 ribbies, 13 bags.
How dare
he
Evan
hit
Klosky look at
277.
the Fangraphs site?
It was a quick look. It was a quick
For
look.
WAR. You know this, Evan. Come on.
Okay, don't look it up. What is Matt Joyce's career BREF WAR?
I can't play this game. I already looked that up today, so I can't do it.
Now I imagine it's going to be closer to like the 2.6 or something.
No.
You're talking about career?
Yeah.
Oh,
Matt Joyce.
13.5.
Not bad. 14.7. 14.7. A really, again, a career that 99% of professional ball players would envy.
Kevin,
a guy who
14 years in the league. 14 years
But also,
in the league.
he's one of those players where his best years were with Tampa Bay.
Yes.
Put him in the situation to succeed, something that in 2022 the Rays have not done, unfortunately, because of injuries, but it's definitely something that has helped a lot of guys. Look, let's look at this slash line. 242, a 342 on base, 425 slug, 767 OPS. Would you like a 767 OPS in the Rays lineup in 2022? I think so. 111 OPS plus, people. My goodness.
That was Peter Bendix just calling me right there. God, Peter,
what did he say?
Stop. You know we're recording. Just you're killing me here.
Did he say
Matt Joyce,
that the $100K that they got for Brett Phillips was to get the jersey money back?
That's what it was. That's what it was.
Matt Joyce, again, 8 different teams, 1,400 career games, made the playoffs in 5 seasons. Not many guys get that opportunity, making nearly $28 million in his career after being a 12th round pick out of Armwood and Florida Southern. He had a 25 homer season, a 75 RBI season, a 30+ double season. Yeah, kudos to the guy. And he loved ball. He loved playing baseball. And I think he even considered trying to do the independent thing this year before that kind of didn't work out too well. But shout out to him. And he's around Tampa Bay for sure. One last thing. Ulises, this was something that we discussed earlier this week. And again, it is still trade deadline's over, but it is still trade deadline week. Figured we would throw this question out to Evan to get his perspective on this. Say that Shohei Ohtani, I guess he could have been or made available at this year's trade deadline. Say the Angels asked for the Rays' top 4 prospects to start. Taj Bradley, Curtis Mead, Carson Williams, Greg Jones. They want those 4 as a starter. It's going to take more than that. Would you pull the trigger, assuming that you have to throw in maybe a Jonathan Aranda and a Harold Ramirez and a something else?
Absolutely. Assuming that, they're not going to be able to sign him for the amount of money that they need. Yeah. Are we ignoring that?
So you're taking him for a 1.5 year rental, basically, or a
1.5 year rental.
Because it's not obviously the Rays aren't extending Shohei Ohtani, so you're giving up your top 4 prospects.
I personally,
a 1.5 years.
I mean,
I think he's owed.
Probably,
just so you make this, it's $8 million. I think he's owed in 2023, if I'm mistaken. But I think it's $8 million.
I'm not a firm believer. Probably, but I'm not a firm believer in when you're a small budget team going all in like that, because it really, you're kind of screwed after it. I mean, So you get Ohtani for a year and a half. If that's why like the Soto thing was a little bit more interesting because what you were going to have him for 2.5, right?
3 postseason runs. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but I think the Padres have the ability to sign him long term. Do they
yeah,
not?
they do. But at least like if the Rays were to bring in Soto, you would have had him for a half a year, go all in next year, and then you can hedge and still trade Soto and get some value back. With Ohtani, you're going all in next year unless it's like blows up in flames in the first couple months. I mean, it doesn't make long-term sense as much as I would love to go through the thought process.
Follow up on that. Do you think that Shohei Ohtani gets traded by the Angels before he hits free agency?
Yes.
Okay.
If I am the Angels, I have to get rid of Trout and I have to get rid of Shohei Ohtani. They are not close. You have the two best players in the world, and you are not close with them. Like, really, first off, Trout gets injured every other. Now he's got a back injury, so more concerns. But you need to replenish everything. You just need to go back. And in the game of baseball, you can't have 2 stars and a bunch of crap. Sometimes like the Rays love to win with no stars and a bunch of really good hitters. And the Angels just seem so distant between analytics and what smart people say in a sense of like in those back offices of what you should really be doing to build a team with small budgets and, thinking like, you spend, and speaking of small budgets, just saying you've owned Trout, you own Ohtani, let's say to a long-term deal, Rendon, you sign Noah Syndergaard. What are you doing with all those other players? It's just
right.
And their farm isn't great. I mean, they look like the Orioles of past, just in a worse position. They look like the Pirates when they were having their run in a worse position. The Pirates and the Orioles being in a worse position because they don't have those 2 stars. So I think I would rather, get what I can and just try to rebuild this team. It needs a reset.
And you probably better, you probably better attach Rendon to any deal like that too, because that guy he's the Loch Ness monster. He's Bigfoot, totally disappeared.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to even throw in that deal because you don't want to diminish any part of your return, right? That's like I'm sure the Nationals would have loved to have thrown Corbin into that deal with Soto, but if you're going to do that, then it's like.
But you demand it if you're trading Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout. Like, I don't know.
I would not dilute.
At least Trout is signed long term. So when you get Trout, you're getting all of Trout. So to me, that makes a little bit more sense of like going to like a Mets or I don't know. The Padres are now spending money left and right, or Dodgers, and being like,
no. Bring him to the East Coast. Enough. We've missed enough of his peak in the West Coast. Bring him to the East Coast. Bring Shohei Ohtani to the East Coast.
So okay, to the Mets. You call it the
Mets. I would love it. I would love it. Yes.
But you have to understand for the Mets, it's like if you want me to take on Rendon, I'm not giving you the amount of prospects that you want for Trout. Yeah. You're not like here's my list for Trout. It just became this. Because I got to take on that crap contract.
Also,
hold up. Yeah. Before we end that little thing, I do want to say, dude, I don't know how many times you are going to hear me say something positive about Stu, but I will say it right now. What the Angels have to support with Artie Moreno and his stupid spending by the Josh Hamiltons, the Justin Uptons, the
Pujols,
CJ Wilson, the all of these crap salary, Anthony Rendon, like you said, Kevin, man, at least Stu doesn't make those stupid mistakes. And sometimes you got to be a little bit more cautious on when you're going to spend your money, because it's not basketball. You can't just have Kevin Love and LeBron James and win a championship. Sometimes it's MLB, man. It's baseball. It's a different sport. You need a whole team. You can't just have two guys.
What's so funny is people like crap a brick because Yoshi Tsutsugo got $12 million or Pat Burrell got $16 million compared to what some of these other guys are getting for not doing anything. What I will say, this is a terrible, terrible joke, but I'm going to say it anyway. The Angels, if they do trade Mike Trout, they have to get Anthony Bass in return. They have to get some sort of fish last name. They had Tim Salmon. They had Mike Trout. Get Anthony Bass.
What are we going to do with him?
Flag on the play.
Yeah.
80 yards back.
Yeah.
80 yards back. Get out
Top
of here.
prospect,
Wrap it up.
James Minnow.
Oh, my God.
Something. All right. On that note, thank you for making the Locked On Rays podcast your very first listen every day. Now make your second listen, the Locked On MLB Prospects podcast. That is also free and available on all platforms. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you on Friday.